Hello, hello. All right. What's going on, Couch? Is that what you like to be called? Or is it Jonathan? I think that's your name, right? If I remember correctly. What's going on, everybody? Natalie's connecting through right now. Couch. Okay. What's going on?
Okay, now
You made it. Oh, wonderful.
I hold on. I need to figure out how to do this without so I can plug in my phone.
Cool.
Okay, there we go. That's perfect.
Omar, what's up, bud?
What's up, everyone?
Guys.
Oh, he's back. Woo.
Everybody, welcome on. Hey, Lauren.
How's it going?
All right, guys. So today we're going to talk about, well, first of all, it's Self-Help Saturday. So we're going to talk about the best freaking self-help book and morning routine there is out there. So we're talking about Miracle Morning today. Living the dream. Getting hit on regularly on TikTok. Like, what? You're getting hit on TikTok? Sanjay, thanks, man.
I don't know what's happening. I'm just getting hit on so much.
Yeah, honestly, relatable.
It's so funny.
So relatable.
I get shit on so much.
I know. I go bully people in your comments.
They're so fucking rude. I don't even look. But they're like, oh.
I literally, and it's always like the 12-year-olds, and I'm like, where's your mother? Have you ever seen the comments that I leave on people? Because like I really go on them. Like I go in on them. Yeah, I go in on them. I don't let them bully you.
Appreciate it. I would go in there, but I don't want to see that.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I
go in on them because like they're horrible. Like ew.
Yeah. It's especially bad for sex workers. Like if I was a normal funny person, I would just be like, okay, maybe I'll come in and attack, but nah.
Right, but whatever. Fuck them. So anyway, guys, we're gonna talk about Miracle Morning. It's a really great book. Essentially, it's a miracle morning. It is literally everything that you need in your life. So essentially, what it is a morning routine, and you do affirmations, meditation, visualization, exercise, reading, and writing. Right? Did I say it all right?
And basically any order that you want, you do those 6 things.
Right. And I stumbled upon this book and this whole morning routine because I was watching a podcast, Impact Theory, and the author was on that podcast, and you know he had all these like really valid points, and like he had overcome all this adversity, and he credited most of it to his morning routine. And that was the one thing he was missing. He was like really successful in his life, like not overly successful, but he was successful. And
successful, but
yeah, exactly, moderately successful. And he like hit some adversity, and the reason he started the miracle morning, aspect, he was like, okay, well, what are the most successful people? Who are the most successful people in the world? And what is something that they're doing that I'm not? And he found that it was all in their morning routines. So he came up with the 6 things: the affirmation, visualization, meditation, exercise, reading, and writing. So journaling. And he was like, I don't know how to figure out, I don't know what to do. I don't know which one to do. Like, how can I do one thing that's going to like change on? And then he was like, oh, well, what if I do it all? And his wife was like, yeah, you should do them all, and you can call it your miracle morning. And he was like, yeah, oh my God, my miracle morning. And like super jazzed about it. And then he actually went into writing the book, and it is Extremely powerful.
It's almost surprising. It seems like he stumbled upon the formula. Like he was just like, what are things I do to grow as a person? All these things, and then he just did them.
Right. Well, okay. So he said in the podcast that I watched, he talks about a quote by Jim Rohn, and I actually shared that in my story. So if you want to go look at it, I might not be there by the time we're done because I shared it last night. But he says, your level of success will rarely exceed your level of personal development because success is something you attract by the person you become. And he was like, I'm not making any time for my personal development. I don't have any time. Like I've got kids, I've got work, and like I'm just like living through this scarcity mindset, and like I stumble through my day and work and grind my gears all day, and then at the end I plop down and then I wake up and I have to drag myself out of bed.
Yeah, no, that's a very profound part of the book. It's like you're kind of attracting, or it goes into a little bit of woo land of like if you're at a certain level, you're gonna get other things at that level. So it's like law of attraction a little bit
Right.
of like heightening your like energy and your like
your awareness.
And all that. And so if you are at a heightened place, heightened things come in. I totally believe that personally.
Well, it's like success is something you attract by the person you become, because you attract more people that are like that. It's and like I'm a firm believer in energy because it's the only thing that is real to me. When you walk in a room and you feel tension, or when you walk in a room and you're like, vibes, like love this, like you can feel it. And so it's just something that is very real. So like when you walk into a room and there's a bunch of powerful, amazing people in there, you can feel it.
Totally. Completely. I agree. You can just feel it. You can feel it if somebody has a lot of like
doubt.
Either self-doubt or the opposite of that. If they are just so like they know themselves, they know what they've been through, they know the work they've done. You can feel that confidence with someone.
Definitely.
That's real big dick energy right there.
Real big dick energy. Yes, that's for real.
Not some bullshit, arrogant, fake stuff, but like real big dick energy, and then you like get more aligned with what you're supposed to actually be doing.
So, okay, I want to and you may not remember this because you might have just finished the book, but like the first chapter of the book, he said in like the first few minutes, he goes over some like statistic, and it says the average American is 20 pounds overweight, $10,000 in debt, slightly depressed, dislikes their job, and has less than one close friend.
It's so rough.
That's like crazy. And I'm not kidding. You guys, if you read this book, he says mediocre at least 100 times in the first chapter.
That's mediocre life.
He's like, don't like mediocre, mediocrity, mediocre life. Like, no, like he talks about it, and it's like, you're like, man, like it is true. Like it's true. Yeah. Like so many people are they just settle. Like,
and then you're like, I don't want that. Fuck.
Well, right. And the next thing he talks about, he's like, okay, so you measured everything in your life by like, level 1 out of 10. So your relationships, your health. Like he says, no one is going to say, I'm okay with a level 6 health. I don't want to be too healthy or too energetic. Like, no, there's no person saying that. Every person is saying, I want more energy. I want to look better. I want to feel better. I could get into really deep on that, but I probably shouldn't.
No, totally. And okay, the statistic that really disturbed me was that only 1% of people have really achieved that.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and then for the 4 other percent, like he was like 5% of people kind of have achieved that, but only like 1% have really achieved that, and only 4%, and then 4% is like kind of is just like doing well in general.
Right.
Good.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like you even like those people, the people that are in the 4 or 5% got to a certain point where like, I'm okay here. And I mean, I feel like at some point in your life, you're like, I'm okay with this. I'm not gonna go as hard, as I did when I was 25, like when I'm 80, like, but I'm still gonna be pushing the envelope, and like doing all that I can.
Like a Bill Gates mode of just kind of like, yeah, I'm doing things, but
Right, still doing things, still going
Microsoft.
for it. Right, still grinding. And another thing he said in the first chapter, he says, your success isn't just for you.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, that is so true.
Narrative.
Well, yeah, like if it's not just for you, like if it's for your family, if it's for your spouse, if it's for your friends, it's you're having better relationships with them. You're having you're leading by example.
Totally.
And, so that was something that I really liked too.
No, that's totally true. Like it's like something I liked that he said, and I've heard it before, and I keep hearing it everywhere. Is like, look, like if you have the ability to live better and do something for the world, and you're just not doing that, like you have a moral imperative to do that. Like, you have a moral imperative to like try. Like if you have
right,
that,
like why not try?
Like if you can improve the world, why not do it?
Right. And
like,
by improving yourself, you are improving the world.
Yeah, it's a selfish decision not to.
Right. It's not, you're not just doing the disservice to yourself, you're doing it to your family, to your friends, to the people that are around you, period. Like it's not just for you, it's for your kids, it's for your grandmother. It's like it's literally for everybody that's in your life. And if you better yourself, you're going to help better other people, which is going to help better other people. And it's like you're saying, it's like this collective thing. It's like you are making the world actually a better place by choosing to be a better human and going all out. The next thing.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
The reason why I think that's such an important part of the book that he says that is because I think the message often is that you're actually selfish for going for it. So it kind of reverses that, and it says you're selfish for not going for it.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
I'm so susceptible to guilt. So like when someone says you're selfish for thinking you can do something, or you're selfish for feeling special, and like you're trying to actually get after it, I take that in, and I'm like, maybe I am being like whatever, maybe I am being selfish, maybe I am being conceited. And then it's like when you flip it like that, it's like, no, like I have a responsibility to like live to my full potential.
Right, because human potential is fucking limitless. Let's just be fucking real. Any human at any point in time can just make a decision, and that's literally what it comes down to, making a decision to do something different than you did the day before, and choosing to look at yourself and say, I'm not a perfect person, and that there are some things that I'm doing, there are flaws in my ways. I can actually be better. I can do things better. I can help other people. And I think it's really profound and important.
And I think
the next
sort of make the decision, sorry, just to go on,
you're fine.
People make the decision to like try to unlock that, or they don't. Some people are resisting their potential, they're resisting everything, and they kind of live this like mediocre, as he says a billion times, life that they're not happy with, but they're so scared of opening up their potential that they're just stuck in this like shitty in between. And I think that's like what you see a lot with how miserable people are in their like jobs and shit, and their 9 to 5. I know I've been there. I was in that place for about 3 months, and I literally wanted to die. So like, you know what I mean? It's like it's a horrible feeling.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's like you said, like it's just so important to like not get stuck in that way of thinking, and to look at yourself and just be like, look, I'm not going to do what everybody else is doing. And I used to like look at what everybody else was doing and then make my decision on my life based on that. And I'm like, now I'm like, fuck that, because that is just not the way to go. My life needs to be determined by me and me only, and obviously the people that are around me that I love and care about. But at the end of the day, it's ultimately my decision. And while those people's opinions do matter to me, like the people that I love and care about, at the end of the day, it's my opinion that is most important to me, and my goals. And if someone thinks I'm selfish for going for it so I can help literally like the entire world, then
Yeah.
they weren't really there for me. So I'm going to go on to the next point. So you're freezing up
Okay.
here. Hold on.
Oh,
Purpose
no,
and
I'm
driven
okay.
lifestyle. Yeah, absolutely. So the next point I was going to say is that he says focused, productive, and successful mornings create focused, productive, and successful days. Just as unfocused, unproductive, and mediocre mornings generate unfocused, unproductive, and mediocre days. And he also goes on to say, like your day, how you start your morning is how your day is going to go. So your day is
Right.
your life. Like if how you're living each day is your life. So like why wouldn't you want to wake up and like do 6 small little things, even if you only took a minute to do each? It just
Right.
makes such a difference.
Yeah, no, I think that like that's accurate. And sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, you're fine. You go ahead.
So basically, all the stuff we've been saying, it adds up to like you can't, like everything is a snowball effect, and you can't like, fulfill your potential if you like, if when you get out of bed you're like, oh fuck.
Mm-hmm.
It's if you start your day like fast and like getting shit done, then you're gonna continue that vibe throughout your day.
Oh, definitely. Because like I remember even like before I ever even knew anything about a miracle morning, I remember like waking up early and like just getting some shit done. I always felt like so much better, and I was like, oh man, I feel good. And then I would, like, but then I would tell myself the lie, oh, like I'm not a morning person, or
Yeah.
like I'm a night owl, or whatever bullshit
Yeah.
I tell myself, and like just it's really just a limiting belief, and that's really all it is at the end of the day, is a limiting belief saying, I'm not a morning person. Okay, well, like nobody is a morning person. No one is jazzed to get out of bed at 4:30 or 5 a.m. Nobody. Not
No,
I don't know
yeah.
a one person that's like, oh yeah, I'm really psyched about it. But once
Yeah.
I get out of bed and I actually do the action and like start doing these things and start feeling like getting the positivity in my ears, and then writing out my thoughts, and then meditating, and then visualizing my goals, and visualizing me completing all the tasks that I need to get done and to live my life successfully, I like feel like what we were talking about, like so much power in that. There's so much power in that.
No, there's so much, and that this was the one thing that I was missing in my life. I think, like, and it's been for a while. Like, I've always known that I should get up early, but I always had that excuse of like, oh, I'm not a morning person. Like, this is just how I am. Like, I do better when I don't force things. But like, those are just excuses, because like this was the one thing that was missing in my life, because now that I wake up early, I have like control over my shit, and I know that I
Right.
can get shit done. Like before, I didn't feel like I could like make plans with people, because I was like, I don't even know if I'll be fucking awake. Like, and that's part of the
Right.
problem of like literally working for yourself, is that's like one hard part about it, and one reason people really like structure. But like I wasn't holding myself accountable, so I wasn't really doing shit. So like I was doing just enough to keep grinding out my goals and shit, but I wasn't really like, I wasn't doing enough. I was doing enough to where I wasn't doing nothing, but I felt horrible about myself because I kept just sleeping.
Right, because like what you said, you were grinding yourself down. And I think what is so important about the miracle morning is it really helps to create a strong foundation as far as the mind goes. And even like I only meditate for like 3 minutes because I'm not good at it yet. I'm not a person that can sit and meditate for an hour or even 10 minutes at this point. Like, so I do 3 minutes of guided meditation, and I just like, and it's really profound, like how much power you actually do get from it. And that you already answered, why did you decide to start the miracle morning? But that's like, I knew that I was, like what you said, I knew I was doing things that I needed to do. Hi, Kayla. I knew I was doing things that I needed to do. I was reading the books, listening to the positive stuff, working really hard, grinding, doing all the things. and just honestly feeling really exhausted and not feeling like excited to get out of bed and like go after my goals, because like it was just like exhausting, and I was just like not really like feeling, I didn't feel powerful, like I didn't feel any of that. So I was like, when I saw this video, because I'm always watching videos on successful people, and I hadn't heard anything about a morning routine yet. And when he said that, and then that quote about, you know, your level of success will rarely exceed your level of personal development, because success is something you attract by the person you become.
Yeah.
Man, when he said that, and it rings, I literally, that quote, when he said that, and it wasn't even like, normally it's Jim Rohn that says that, and I hadn't even heard, I didn't even know who Jim Rohn was at this point, and this guy, the author of the book, said, hi, Forte, Ivan. When he said that, I was just like, you know what? That's true. That's the facts, because I know that, and I need to focus, be more focused. And you know what? I'm willing to even try this, because like, okay, so what's the worst thing that happens? I wake up at 5:30. I do all this, and I don't feel any different. So I have nothing to lose.
So true. It's like, what's the worst thing? You might as well, because like, what's the worst thing?
So what would you say is the biggest thing, like, or what have you gained from the Miracle Morning, and what is the biggest factor for you?
For me, it's like this level of like feeling of control over my life, that I don't have, that I think is so imperative to like, and this might just be part of like waking up early for me personally, because that's like a personal battle I've been dealing with for a while. But and I think everyone goes through that. Like, even if you're in school, if you wake up right before class, it's still the same thing. But even if it's early, but if you don't like take some time for yourself, you still feel like you just like dragged yourself out of bed, and you feel less good about yourself. But anyway, so it gives me this feeling of control over my life that I don't have without it, because I feel like I can't trust myself without it. I feel like I'm not accountable. I feel like I'm just like kind of floating around. Like, maybe I'll do something, maybe I won't. Like, I don't have as much like grip on like life, I guess. I don't have like, I want to do this, I'm going to go after it type of thing. And that's a really important feeling to have in order to like feel good about yourself.
Right.
People who do not great things, usually it's because they feel out of control. So it's
that's very true.
Yeah. And so that was an important part for me. And I want to know the same for you. The difference between you and me, though, is that you already did kind of get up early and do your thing. But so how has it like affected you as someone who didn't have as much of a problem with that?
So, I mean, here's the thing, is I did the Miracle Morning about, I want to say like a year ago, and me and Jamie did it for like, I want to say like, I'm going to lowball it, but I think it was more like 6 months, but it was like, I want to say like 4 months straight, where we woke up early and we did the Miracle Morning. We walked 2 miles, and the biggest factor for me is power.
Yeah.
And I'm 5 feet tall. Like, I'm not like this like huge like powerhouse person. Like, I'm not like, I don't feel like I have like a wow, va va voom look to me. Like, I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have a lot of like power naturally. So when I started doing
glamour makeup all the time, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel like I'm pretty, you know, I look like kind of like a 16-year-old sometimes. Like, I get that a lot. So I'm like, I'm not like a hugely intimidating person, or like not necessarily intimidating, but I don't have a lot of like power naturally. It's not something that comes naturally to me. I don't ever really want to be very powerful.
So you're saying you're not an intimidating person, basically.
What's that?
So you're basically saying you're not an intimidating person.
Right, exactly. I didn't feel myself as like very powerful. I didn't feel like I could say what I wanted for what I wanted for me. So like for me, I felt so powerful. I like what you said is like, I felt powerful. I felt like I was in control. I felt like all of my like self-esteem issues out the window. They were like gone.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I was like, look at me, like just waking up early, like look at me, I'm waking up, I'm doing things.
Like,
you
you're
know
doing
what?
your
I
best.
know that like 90% of the fucking population isn't even willing to explore this idea. It's like it made me feel really good, like about myself.
That's awesome.
Definitely.
And on that same note, can I ask why you guys like stopped? Did it like?
We just kind of fell off, like just kind of we
Just
got
like,
real busy. We had a person move in with us, and it was just a lot of chaos going on all the time, and it like can be really unmotivating. And it's not an excuse, it's just a matter of like that's what we noticed. And then once we noticed like that it was becoming a drain and not a fountain, we were like, okay, we gotta get back on this. And like now we've been doing it again, and like we just feel so good, like we just feel great, we feel clean, like alive, like doing what we need to do, and it's awesome.
That's totally amazing. And when somebody comes into your life who has a lot of chaotic energy and like the opposite of what we're trying to get after here, it like really fucks shit up.
Well, it's like there was like another dog in the house, and like it was just like a lot of like little things that kept piling on, and it was just like it wasn't even necessarily chaotic energy, it was just like another energy that we weren't used to, and like we probably could have adapted to, but like we were just like, you know what, we know what works, we know what we need to do, and we're a married couple, so it's like it's a little bit different. Like it's not like we're in college, or like like we don't really need roommates. We did it to be nice and awesome people that we are, and like help out our friend, and we're glad that we did it at the end of the day. But it's like it just wasn't working out for as far as like at the end. It was just like it was too much of a drain on the energy. Like it was just too many little things that were just like not good. So I was just like, we got to get back to grinding and doing, not grinding, but like doing the miracle, like getting back on our shit, and like just like hustling and being badass, and like not grinding our gears down, and like wearing ourselves out.
Right. Yeah. That's awesome. So you're just like, you experience the benefits of it, you're ready for that again. Like,
exactly. So we were just like, we just knew that like, and that's the thing, is that like we had to go like where we were in our lives when we first started the Miracle Morning. It was like we really had to transform, because we had to really level up with our business. And then like once we got there, I think also it wasn't just like the roommate thing, it was like once we got there we were like, okay, well, like a lot of things changed, like my husband's role changed at his job, and then like just so many things like happened, and then like this whole quarantine has happened now, and it's like honestly been a blessing in disguise, because we've just had a lot more time to rest our souls and like take time to just better ourselves. And like we don't wake up at 5 a.m. we wake up at like 7, because it's quarantine and we're normally going to bed later. But it's like we still do the Miracle Morning thing, and like next week we're going to do it a little bit earlier, and we're just going to start getting ourselves back into the earlier habit, because when life goes back to normal, we're going to need to be waking up at 5:30 so we can be the highest performing people that we can be.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And
definitely.
Quarantine's definitely a blessing. I feel like it's opened up a lot of, like, I know that in a lot of ways, obviously it's not, there's been a lot of deaths, there's been a lot of tragedy, but like, and for people who were maybe like living a way that they didn't even know they didn't like me, it forced me to like slow down and like figure other things out, other avenues,
exactly,
and like get it together basically.
Well, like even for my husband Jamie, like he's a really amazing high performance person, he really is, and he was just like, the way I was going, I was wearing myself down, and I'm really thankful for this, because it like forced him to start like doing different things that he never did before. And same here, it's like, so we just like we started opening, we literally took inventory of like the things that we had, the things that we wanted to get rid of and work on, and what we wanted to gain from this. And like it's just been, and then the Miracle Morning on top of that, it's just like,
no, I totally relate to that. That's so true. It's like you can go you can just be trying for success in a way that's like less efficient and
Right.
less and like more and just more difficult and more taxing, and you can really burn yourself out. And then this is an opportunity to just like reset that, figure out a better way, smarter way.
Definitely, definitely. So let me see right here. So another thing he says, and he doesn't say this in the book, I don't think. I mean, I didn't listen to the whole book recently, so you might have to refresh me. But he says negative emotion is self-created by the degree of resistance we have to our reality.
That quote was juicy. I was like, huh.
Juicy, right?
Yeah.
It's so true.
I would say so. I feel the worst when I'm just like pretending like shit isn't happening. When I'm in the worst situation when I'm pretending like it's good and it's not.
Right, and I feel like that's how like all of like Americans work. Like it's what they do is that they like, oh, my life is fine. I've settled. I'm good. I make this amount of money and I'm happy, even though I can't do what I want whenever I want. I can't vacation because I don't have enough money, and I have to just all these things. Like it's just like they're really resistance to like saying like my reality sucks and I can change it. They start just saying like, oh, it's like a circumstance or it's this or it's that, and it's like you get into this really horrible way of thinking.
Yeah, you have to be really good at either deluding yourself or to be happy you have to be kind of delusional in situations like that.
Definitely.
And as I've grown as a person personally, I've become less and less delusional and less attached to ideas that I was told as a child about the way things are. And
right.
As I've gotten away from that, I've become happier, but it's hard because you look at what you were putting up with and you go, oh my God.
I know.
Like, I can't believe I went with that. For example, a great example is Tucson. So
right.
When I first got here, I was like, what a magical land. And now I'm like, this is a kind of cultureless wasteland of a place. And that's kind of rude, but like, it's true. Like, there's not much going on, and because of that, it doesn't make me happy. And as soon as I acknowledged that, I was like, I'm gonna leave. And so and just acknowledging that also just lets me, even if I couldn't leave, it would be like it would allow me to find some way to deal with the reality. But if I'm just in denial about it, then I'm just gonna be unhappy subconsciously.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing is that like people try to and that's the thing is that people try to justify their own lives and settling because they look at other people doing it. And I was like, okay, but like if that person went and picked up a pile of dog poop with their hand, would you be like, oh well, they're doing it, so like I'm gonna do it? Like, no, you would not do that. You'd be like, that's fucking insane. Like like I'm not gonna do that. Like it's like you have the potential to go so far and you are just squandering it. And like,
give me 1 second.
She's gone. We lost her. Water break, everyone. What does everyone think of the Miracle Morning? You think it's something you'll try?
Yeah, I got some. Yeah. So, some ex-boyfriend drama. Ooh.
Oh boy.
Yeah. But basically, it's like I think that's a great metaphor. The poop thing.
Right. I just pulled that, out of anywhere. I was just like, whatever.
There is a certain level of just like being happy where you're at. Like I totally am with that, but like
stop settling.
But it's like I don't know. I just think that we should try at least for more if you're unhappy.
If you give people two options, like one like really horrible option or one really great option, they're always going to choose the really great option. So it's like, okay, all I have to do is work hard to get the really great option. So like, why wouldn't you do that?
The thing is I disagree with that, actually. I think that a lot of people are so comfortable with being unhappy and in a shitty place that they would actually choose the less good option. And
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is about as far as what they want, they actually want the great thing. They
Yeah.
want the great thing, but like what you said, they have this belief system that they cannot achieve. They don't deserve the great thing, and that's the thing is that like even if you don't have to stay there. Like you don't have to stay there and be a shitty person. If you are a shitty person, you could wake up tomorrow and say, "Hey, tomorrow I want to, make good decisions. I want to be nice to people. I want to, go out of my way to help someone, whatever it is that you think that you need to do to be a better person. All you have to do is make the decision." And people think it's like this grandiose thing. It's like, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I feel like there's a real phobia to getting out of the crab pot. And so.
Mediocrity.
Misery loves company. Yeah. And people will do things to, if there's somebody who wants to like kind of move forward and move up, the people around them who are too scared to do that and don't even think that they can or don't tell themselves they don't want more will literally like try and tie that person down with the same doubts and the same worries and the same guilt and the same all the heavy baggage and bullshit. And it's like
well, nobody wants to see anybody do better than them, and I found that very true in my own life, especially when I started doing like videos and stuff like this. Like it's like you really find out who is actually there for you and who is actually like, wow, like I'm so proud of you, like you're a beast, like I want you to win. You find out who those people are and you find out who those people aren't.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate.
It's sad, but yeah, exactly. So what were we saying? Basically, just like the miracle morning, though, it makes me feel like I actually can be at a different level beyond that.
It really does. Like, it gives me like hope that like I could be like a person that could make $1 billion. Like, I could change the world.
Yeah, it makes
my thoughts could help people. My thoughts, my words, my actions could help the world collectively be better. Like
that's amazing.
Isn't that? But it's so okay. So I'm gonna like kind of like dish something that like I was like thinking about it, and I was like writing out my goals, and I was like, I want to make I don't know. I was writing out something, and I went to go write like this really big goal, and I was like, man, that's fucking audacious. Like, why is it, it's so audacious to dream big. And it's like, why is it so audacious? And like, that was the thing. It's like, it wasn't my voice saying, oh, like, oh, you really think you're going to reach 1 billion people? Okay, well, no, probably not. Okay, well, probably fucking not. I'm probably not. But you know what? I'm going to fucking try.
Right.
Because if you really put in the work, what it takes to get to 1 billion people and reach 1 billion people, then like you're gonna reach a lot of people. Like you may not reach 1 billion, but I might reach, 1 million.
1 million, like that's a big step away from that, but it's still a fuck ton of people.
Right. It's like, but like I felt like when I was writing down 1 million, I was like, that's too small. And then I was like, you know what I mean? Like it's just like, but I was like, but when I said 1 billion, I was like,
you're like, whoa.
I was like, I don't know who the fuck you think you are.
You're like 1/7 of the world. Some Harry Potter shit.
Yeah, exactly. So I was just like, man, and then I was like, man, I gotta talk to Natalie about that because she's gonna be like, oh my god, no, I totally know what you mean. It's like you really feel like, oh, like wow, you're bold. Like you have that little voice in your head that's like, bitch.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I do that shit all the time, like on my little like dream board things, like and whenever I set goals for myself, I set them to be extremely large just so I get higher than before. And a lot of the times I actually hit the goals and it's like kind of mind blowing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is like, if you really like, it's not even about like, that, oh, I'm going to reach 1 billion people. I'm going to make $1 billion. It's like, okay, well, what will it make of you to strive for that goal? Who will you become striving for that?
It'll make you a way better it'll make you a way more developed person. Lots more skills.
Exactly.
Lots of shit to do. And then I think the key with Miracle Morning though is it gives you kind of like the meat and potatoes of actually accomplishing it. Like you can write that down, but once you start doing this shit, like you feel like you can actually do it.
Well, like, and it's like, okay, so it's such a small little part of your day. Yeah. And like, if you kind of crush that part, it's like, and then you go on to crush the next part of your day and the next part of your day. And then you start building this trust within yourself where you're like, oh, like I can do more than I've really been telling myself that I can. And this limiting belief that I have in my head, this limiting voice is not mine.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
somebody else's.
That's so accurate. And I can say, even without the Miracle Morning, me just continuing to like try and go for these goals has built up a level of like things that other people find hard, I find really easy, and I can build on top of that.
Right,
But
absolutely.
like, yeah. And so a really good example of that for me, I think, is like diets and stuff, because a lot of people are like, I would never do the carnivore diet, that's crazy, like it's fucking difficult, I couldn't do it. And I'm like, I'll do it, and I'll also intermittent fast at the same time, and it's not even difficult for me because I've done it.
I know people like think that intermittent fasting is so hard, and I'm like, man, I did that shit for like a year and a half. I unfortunately had to stop because of acid reflux, but
Yeah.
and like I was like, man, like that is just like, it's crazy to me that people think that that's really hard. Like what you're just saying, like it's just like, it's not that hard once you really like just let go. Like you just try it, and like, okay, if it's like really the worst thing that you're ever gonna experience, then like, okay, then like don't. But like,
and if
it's
makes it a practice of doing it, builds upon itself, and then it's just it cascades upwards. Because like
exactly.
I'm in the business of like basically bodies and like almost modeling and like just sort of like physicality, and so that comes naturally to me because I've been working on it for years. But like,
right.
Like, how are you in shape? It's like, I've been working on this for years. Like,
right. Well, it's like too, like people miss, like what Jamie, my husband, was talking about, like the instant gratification. People want instant gratification. So like, okay, well you can fast today, but like you're not like, but oh, and I'll be hungry and I'll like feel kind of like shit the first week, but like at the end of it, I'm gonna lose 15 pounds and maybe more. And but like people won't get past that point of like being uncomfortable for a short time and like delaying that gratification.
Totally. And what was I thinking? Oh, there's something. Shit. But yeah, I was gonna say, you said crushing it, and I was gonna say, can that be our next book?
Ooh, yes. I read that. Actually, I read that, I want to say like 2 years ago. No, not even 2 years ago. I read that like a year ago, and I used to listen to it during my Miracle Morning. So
yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah, you told me about it, and the reason I want to read it is because I heard about it recently on a Gary Vee video, and he said that he wrote that at the end of 2008, and I was like, that's literally kind of like very relevant.
It's really good. It's really good, and it really, especially in the like if you're in the social media space, it's a really good book, and he gives so many like solid examples of like how you can really just crush it.
Which like for me is super relevant too, because I finally am monetizing my following, so it's like perfect.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. It made a huge difference for me, like in learning about just social media and like because like we had to get our business page to a certain point so we could build credibility within, the city. So, ladies, hope you're having a great weekend. Well, thank you.
Thanks. You too.
Bye, everybody. We've just been chit-chatting.
What was I thinking? Miracle Morning. I think it just allows you to feel like you have control and execute on these goals and these dreams, and make you feel like they're actually like achievable, honestly.
Definitely. And like what we were saying, like building the trust with yourself and like the daily discipline. Ooh, that's what I wanted to share. I wanted to share the affirmations. Hold on, let me see if I can pull them up. Is that it? No. Here. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you cannot see that. Well, okay. So,
the affirmations are pretty cool.
The affirmations are awesome. You can find them on the website. I have no idea how to get this down now. Well, let me go pull this. Yeah, you can't read them, unfortunately. But essentially the affirmations, they're on the website, the Miracle Morning website. And if you just type in Miracle Morning affirmations, you'll find them. I find that there's nighttime ones and there is daytime ones. And I really like the nighttime ones because for me, it makes a huge difference in waking up. It makes me not dread as much because it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to allow myself to fall into the limiting, or 8 hours of sleep is plenty enough, or 6 hours of sleep is plenty enough, however much sleep you're going to get, because you say what time you're going to go to bed and what time you're going to wake up, and I'm going to get this many hours of sleep, and that's plenty, and I can't allow myself to fall into the limiting belief that sleeping more will somehow improve my life, when it's actually seriously detrimental to my finances, my growth, and my stress level. And I know that, in order to be the disciplined and whatever person that I need to be, that I need to wake up on time tomorrow. And that makes it a lot easier for me to wake up, especially if I go to bed late.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I love that it's basically more like, how much sleep do you think you need? Like, that's actually how the brain's work.
It's really all in our minds. Our mind is so powerful. You can go from being in excruciating pain and in being like, okay, so the author of this book was hit by a car and was in had all this like horrible injuries. They told him he would never walk again, and he like instantly accepted it, which is like weird. He's just like, okay, well, like I can either accept my reality or I can resist it. So if I accept it, like I'm on my way to healing.
Yeah.
And he did intense meditation and things like that, and
he healed.
The doctor said within a week that he was, they couldn't believe how far his body had healed. Like he was healing at a rapid rate, and they were just like, they didn't understand. And it really does have to do with your thoughts and how you use your mind. Our mind is so powerful.
It's so powerful, and like the subconscious messages and like the affirmations are really good as sort of a hypnosis to like program your subconscious thoughts. And
definitely,
that's something that's so key to not being in pain emotionally. Like for example, or just in general, like being happy. Like if you've gone through an abusive relationship, on the tail end of that, when you come out of it, you feel so unhappy and you're in so much pain because of a lot of those thoughts. And like me personally, like I did a lot of hypnosis to like reverse that, and it worked like really magically. And so ever since then I feel better than I did before the relationship. So ever since I've used hypnosis to like deal with that, I take it really seriously, and like affirmations are legit.
Yeah, affirmations are huge, and like it's just like you are essentially like, even if you don't necessarily like, and I like the way that the affirmations are, because it's like you are trying to create something, and it's like that's what it essentially says. Like, I know that in order to the miracle morning is helping me live with daily discipline, so I can easily attract, create, and sustain the life that I truly want and deserve to live. And I'm like, that's so powerful. Like, and another thing before I forget. So I was watching this other podcast that talks about positives. If you say something positive, is 10 times more powerful, or 10 times more powerful when you speak it, when you speak a positive thought. But a negative thought is 4 to 7 times more than the positive thought. So if you were saying that, oh, I'm a shitbag, or oh, I'm this or that, or whatever horrible thing you're saying, or I'm a failure, or I'm not good at this, it's going to magnify that by 40 to 70 times.
Crazy.
So that will end up becoming true, and what you focus on multiplies. And so if you are if you're saying good things and you're putting out the good things, it's not just about saying, oh, I'm a millionaire, and like that's bullshit, and our mind knows that. But it's like when you're like, okay, I'm gonna do this miracle morning so I can live with daily discipline to attract and create and sustain the life that I want. It's like you're affirming that. That's something you want to affirm.
Making up for bad shit too, because like if you say it out loud, it's 10 times, and then if you think it, it's like 4 to 7. It's like you just say it a lot 10 times, and it's 10 times each time. It's like you're kind of making up for like the negative self-talk.
Exactly. And like that's the thing, is that like if you're like, for me, I consider myself an average person who just decided that they wanted to be better and live to their potential. There are people who are naturally talented that can just achieve and do all these things and have these, great mindsets and whatever, or not even necessarily great mindset, but they're talented and they can go far and be successful to a point. But that's what I'm saying, is that like I feel like I was kind of average, and I was able to unlock an unaverage part of myself and a high performing part of myself by
doing this miracle morning. That's pretty cool. I personally don't think you're average. I feel like you grew up in an environment that sort of like breeds mediocrity, and you naturally broke out of it. So true. Yeah. Well, like, what I'm saying is like kind of like Tom Bilyeu. He was someone who was very similar, like me, is that like he wasn't someone who was very confident. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people that you may know that like are naturally confident and naturally good at things and naturally they're just successful people because like they're like maybe that 1% of the population. Put that in them or something. Right. And I was just like, you know, that's not me. I have to work hard in order to be extraordinary. I feel you, dude. I've had to work really hard to I've had to work hard to be emotionally healthy, and there's a lot of things I've had to do to be able to be as functional as I am, I guess. And absolutely. Be able to, like, try for something that to be able to believe in myself, try for things that normally people would be pretty scared to do. Yeah. Like, I've had to really like rewire my brain. So I totally that's exactly what I'm saying. So like that's why I'm like this miracle morning, like I'm not doing this, like I'm not letting go again. Like I'm not gonna don't get me wrong, like there's gonna be days when I don't do my miracle morning. Like that's just the way it goes. Like life is life, and I'm not gonna hold myself to that standard, but I'm gonna most days I'm gonna do my miracle morning, and I'm going to use it to really level up and I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get where I want to go. I hear you. No, same. I'm really excited about it. I feel really sparky and excited for the first time in a really long time because of it. I didn't realize the effect it would have on me, but I feel like, oh shit, I'm going into my exciting life now. I'm going into dude. When you told me that you were gonna do it, I was so excited because I brought it up to several people and they're just like, no, dude, this was the missing link, literally. I've been looking for something to fucking get me out of bed and, get me on my game, you know what I mean? So it's amazing. Yeah. It's I'm excited to, I'm excited. I'm not going to do it tomorrow because I do a certain form of miracle morning. I just don't do everything usually every day. Saturday and Sunday, I usually give myself a break because, I use it to be really productive. And sometimes I just need to rest and not be productive, and that's my productivity. Is that I need to not be productive. I need to just rest my mind. Yeah, but I do a form of it. I journal. I try to journal every day because the mind is a cluttered mess, or mine is anyway. So I like to declutter, and I like to affirm every day the affirmations. Right. No, totally. And what was I gonna say? Oh, he was saying that you could do a 6-minute miracle morning where it's just that's 1 true. Minute of each. It doesn't have to be the exact thing that he wants you to do. It's just exactly. And that's what I'm saying on here is that make it work for you. If Saturday and Sunday you don't want to go full bore, don't. It's not the end of the world. Taking control of your day and starting it with focusing on yourself and improving and just nourishing yourself and then going from there. Right, exactly. I'm so happy you decided to do this with me. Dude, I swear to God, well, it was a couple of things. One, I was starting to monetize what I've been building for a year and a half now. Two, so I was all excited about that, and I needed a way to be more on top of it. And then two, right, I'm terrible at waking up in the morning, and looking back at my life, that is one thing I can pinpoint and say has created a lot of unhappiness for me. Right, because if you think about it, you just stumble into your day and you don't know how for anything. For me, I like to plan the night before, but some people like to plan their day in the morning. That's a great time to just plan your day in the morning and figure out what you want to do and how you're going, what he says about having a focused, productive, and successful morning, create focused and productive and successful days. Right. And, that's just another thing that made me realize that I want to do the miracle morning is that I wake up in the morning, I would go on my phone, I would go on Facebook or Instagram, and during the day, I couldn't get myself off it. So I was man, I knew that what I was doing was not good. So this was a way for me to not do that. But it was also a way for me to realize that okay, so yeah, it does make sense that your day, how you start your morning is how your day is going to be.
So if you start your morning on Facebook and you see someone killed their dog with a machete and you're like, wow, like that was really fucked up. That makes me want to throw up. And like now you have like this horrible sick feeling in your fucking gut all day. And it's like you carry that around. Or then you see like Jessica's fighting with her freaking husband because he cheated on her with the freaking, it's like you see all these personal horrible things and it's just like
automatic
negative.
Yeah, and I think that this really creates a level of like you don't have an excuse anymore.
Exactly.
Like you don't have an excuse to not do the thing.
Right, exactly. Well, too, it's like I try to talk myself out of doing some things because I think that's what my mind just naturally does. I'm like, oh no, I can chill here for a minute. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna, actually, I'm gonna. And it's because like it's like in the back of my mind that like I don't know, like I started my day so strong, like I want to finish it really strong. Yeah. So I'm like, I want to look at my fucking to-do list and I want it to be just like slaughtered. Like I want it to be like lines through everything, and like that's it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, oh my God. And then when we started this, we both realized like, wow, I got through my to-do list in like 3 hours. I was done by like 11.
Right. And I'm just like, man, like that how much more time do you have now? Like, so now you can really, okay, so now you get to sit here, like, okay,